Welcome to Lesson 4, Other Attributes of Quadrilaterals. We learned in a previous lesson that a square has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. We also learned that a rectangle has 4 right angles and 2 sets of opposite equal sides. So those attributes of side length and 4 right angles are shown in this diagram. Symmetry is another attribute that we can use to describe quadrilaterals. A shape is said to be symmetrical when it is folded so that one half of the shape matches the other half exactly. So please write down the definition of symmetrical shapes in your own words in your notebook right now, and unpause the video when you are done. So here we have a couple of quadrilaterals from the last lesson. As you recall, these are kites because we have 2 sets of equal sides that are adjacent to one another. So if you look at the kite, you can ask yourself, are there any lines of symmetry? Which means, is there a line on which the shape can be folded so that one half will match the other half exactly? Well, with the kite here on our left, we can draw a line down the center, like that. And if we were to fold the left half over the right half, then both sides would match exactly. We can do the same thing with the other kite. Draw a line down the center like so. I'll just move that over slightly. So if one half of the kite was folded over the other, then both sides would match exactly. So each kite has one line of symmetry. Let's look at a trapezoid now. Does a trapezoid have any lines of symmetry? Pause the video, draw a trapezoid in your notebook or use a geoboard and see if you can figure out if it has any lines of symmetry. Come back when you think you've got an answer. If you drew a line of symmetry like this, then you are correct. A trapezoid has one line of symmetry. If the left side was folded over the right side, they would match exactly. Let's now look at a rectangle and a rhombus. Do you think they have any lines of symmetry? If so, the question is how many lines do they each have and where would those lines go? So go ahead now and draw a rhombus and a rectangle on in your notebook or use a geoboard and see if you can figure out where the lines of symmetry might be. So if you guess that the rectangle has 2 lines of symmetry, you are correct. There is one that divides the shape in the middle the long way and one going across this way here. So 2 lines of symmetry. Now pause the video if you haven't already thought about the rhombus and come back when you're ready. A rhombus also has 2 lines of symmetry, as you can see in this diagram. Finally, we're going to look at the most popular quadrilateral, the square. Again, draw a square, pause the video, and see if you can figure out how many lines of symmetry a square has and where they would go. Really stop and think about this one and make sure that you get them all. So a square has 2 lines of symmetry like a rectangle does, one that is horizontal like this and one that is vertical like this. Are these the only lines of symmetry though that a square has? Let's pause and think about that for a moment. A square actually has 2 more lines of symmetry on the diagonals from corner to corner, because if we were to fold the square on either one of these lines, the 2 sides would match exactly. So even though a square has 4 lines of symmetry, we only would look at one line of symmetry at a time. So we would only fold the square one way at a time. We wouldn't fold it on two lines of symmetry at any given time. But a square of all the quadrilaterals has the most lines of symmetry. So another attribute that can be used to describe quadrilaterals is called symmetry. A shape is symmetrical when it can be folded so that one half of the shape matches the other half exactly. So here we have the various quadrilaterals that we looked at in this lesson. We have our kites, which have one line of symmetry here. Our trapezoid also has one line of symmetry. Our rhombus and our rectangle have two lines of symmetry. Both lines in these two examples are vertical and horizontal. And then our super quadrilateral, the square over here, has four lines of symmetry. The horizontal, the vertical, and the two diagonals that go from corner to corner. So please review this lesson again if you need to, ask your teacher any questions, and go have fun with symmetry.